Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 75th episode of Indie and Music Industry World, featuring Amadeus.
How are you?
I'm
Is this the
good.
way you want? Is this the way you want the camera,
Yeah,
or you want it?
no, for me it's okay. How you
Okay,
prefer? I'm
okay.
honored.
Hold on, let me get set up. Hold me 1 second. Hold
Now
on. Let
let's
me
go.
make sure it looks good for you.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's okay.
How
So
are you, brother?
I'm good. You? It's a long time. I know you were
We
a
make
lot of
we
busy.
man. We finally making it happen, huh?
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
First of all, thank you for being in a music culture. So it's just for your big and hard work. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. I wanna just like start it from your beginning, as you just started play with a band in a church.
Mhm.
How did
Yes.
it kind of Jing just like shaped your sound, and your approach into the music.
Yes, I feel like that's the foundation, right? Where growing up in a church, it's more about a feeling than anything. It's not about rights or wrong. It's not about perfection. It's just more about how does it feel to play what you've played and to come together as a unit and as a band. And then from a spiritual sense, right, it's kind of like an enlightenment, right? Because I believe personally that we are gifted and blessed and talented with the gifts that we have, and God has blessed us all, in our own unique way with the gifts and the talents that we have. So it's about realizing that, and more so taking the gifts that has we've been blessed with and giving it back to God and being grateful and thankful to God, and also sharing it with the world and with people in general. So I love that question as your first question, because it definitely shaped who I am as a person, as I am as a man, as an
Yeah,
individual. But then musically, it just set me up and really prepared me for everything else that I've done in the world when it comes to the other genres in music.
yeah, absolutely. At what point you realized about just like your change, your transition, I can say, from a drummer to
Mhm.
producer and a music director.
Yeah, love that. So I started out as a drummer first. I was a
Yeah,
little baby, banging on the drums, man, and finding, figuring out what my love and passion for music was as a musician. So I started out with the drums. Kind of had some artistry going on there in between. Was rapping at first, and just kind of like was like, think more of the behind the scenes, creative producer would be more of, my niche. So I kind of tapped into that next around 14 to 15 years old. And when I realized that that's what I wanted to be, a professional music producer. And then the music direction part came way down the line, when I met Trey Songz in the
yeah.
studio working on a song with him and Mike Jones. That's when the music direction kind of came apart. And it was really nothing that, there wasn't something that I was preparing for or something that I was really wanting to do. Like, it wasn't like a bucket list thing for me, but it was just a moment that I shared with Trey Songz in the studio of, there was a drum set in the corner, and I kind of let him know that I played drums and I was a musician first before I, was a producer, and
Yeah,
just kind of putting it out there. The music that he was creating was very soulful R&B, and I'm like, bro, what you're making is incredible. You're gonna need a live band, to back you one day when you decide you need that. Please call me, and he did, and that's when the music directing thing, kind of all came together, man. So it's been a great
yeah.
journey and a great
Which is
ride.
the different from it, from just like working in a as a music director, and a difference with working in a studio.
Yeah, two different worlds,
Different thing,
two different worlds. I love that question. Two different worlds. Me producing records, hands on with the artist, being a part of the creative process of how the songs come together. Me being the producer, providing the music, um, cutting the vocals with the artist, the songwriting process, mixing of the record, and then obviously releasing and sharing that record with the world. So that's an incredible process to be a part of as a producer. And then the other component, as you mentioned, being a music director and musician, the other side of it is actually taking that record and taking those songs and performing those live in front of, you know, stadiums, arenas, clubs, different venues, and just kind of, you know, getting the appreciation from the fans that show up to actually sing those songs and enjoy those songs that you created. So just to explain the music directing part, so as a music director, my role, I'm basically in charge of everything music when it comes to Trey Songz and being Trey Songz' music director, right? So when he decides that he's going on tour with artists he's going on tour with, we have a theme. So then it's about choosing the songs that fit best for that particular tour, the set list, the order, the times that we're doing it, the transitioning from one song to the next. If we're having guest artists come out, you know, where band members are taking solos, right? Then getting into the sound and making sure that for the people that are coming to the shows, it sounds amazing. Everything is blended properly. The band, Trey's vocals. So it's a lot that goes on when it comes to music directing. I kind of wanted to mention that because it's separate from being a touring musician and being, you know, a music director. So I'm actually playing both roles, as I'm the music director for Trey Songz, but I'm also the drummer as well.
Yeah, which is the lessons you learned, just like from working with a platinum boy and a bad boy Hitman.
Man, shout out to Puff, man. Shout out to Puff, one of the greatest of all time. For me, as a little kid, growing up, he was definitely a big influence in my life. As a producer, the Bad Boy Hitman team, and it was a production team that I dreamt of being a part of. You know what I mean? And as time went on, and I developed as a music producer and became, you know, somewhat successful, that dream came true of me becoming a Bad Boy Hitman. So, you know, part of what I learned with being a part of Hitman is just a collaboration. You know, and how important collaboration is. I used to be a producer that would produce everything on my own, do everything on my own. And then, you know, when you walk into a room, you know, when Puff is creating and bringing records together, he loves bringing amazing people and putting amazing musicians and producers and writers and artists together in order to create, you know, a super masterpiece. So I definitely took that from him in regards to collaborating, working with other producers, working with other musicians in order to just create even bigger and an even greater sounding song, record, or production. Because when you think about this, if it's just me in a room, you can still have greatness, right? But if you put me in a room with 3, 4, 5 other people, that's 5 other different ways to, you know, be creative. That's 5 different ideas, 5 different ways of seeing or hearing drum programming or hearing bass lines and hearing melodies. So collaboration, I learned from him, is a very important thing. And just business in general, being a man of your word, handling business, standing on business, and working extremely hard.
You know, how much is hard to create, you know, the right track, and, you know, as you work with a different genres from hip hop to pop music to R&B music, and, you know, your approach with that different sounds, you know.
I mean, it's a feeling. It's a feeling, man. One thing, even when I came up as a producer, a lot of the producers that I admired had a specific style and a specific sound. And I thought that was dope. But for me, I wanted to confuse the audience when they heard production from me. I didn't want to have a sound that as soon as it comes on, you go, oh, that's Amadeus. It's like, oh, wow, that's Amadeus on this song for Justin Bieber. Oh, wow, that's Amadeus for this song on Chris Brown. I didn't know you could make something like that for Danny D. Kane. So that was my approach to production. And it all really stemmed from me doing what I want, me doing what I feel. I always say, lock me in a room, lock me in a corner, leave me alone, throw away the key, let me create what I want to create, and I'll bring it back to you like, this is what I have. You either like it or you don't. And that's kind of always been my approach as a producer, and why you have, you know, so many different styles and sounds and genres and artists that I work with. Me being from New York and from the Bronx, you know, of course I work with Dipset and G-Unit and Fabolous and French Montana, which is all from New York. But then I work with Justin Bieber and like Paul Wall and Mike Jones from Houston, and The Game, that's in LA, and you know what I mean?
I know.
And then Fibra in Italy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how much is hard
I never wanted to be boxed in.
How much is hard to just like to put your creative idea in work and just like and put also the idea of the artist, you know?
Yeah. So for me, like I said, I don't. Many times people will say, "Hey, I want you to create a song for Chris Brown. I want you to create a song for Trey Songz," right? And I just didn't really like that method of creating because I just like to create music, right? And at the end of the day, it can fit and it can work with any artist, any style, any genre, right? Because if I make a bunch of songs for this specific artist and this artist doesn't like it, this artist doesn't choose it, now I'm stuck with a bunch of different songs and tracks that was created for this artist that sits in my computer that nobody else wants because it was created for that artist. So that's why I don't like creating specifically for artists. I just create great music
Yeah.
in all genres that can work for
And we
anybody. I
feel
send it
it.
to every and yeah, I send it
That's
to
what
you. I send it
makes
to
you
every artist.
different.
Thank you, my brother.
You're
Thank you. So
welcome.
that's how I work, man.
Yeah. How do you see the difference from the producer of now, from the role of the producer of times ago when you started?
Yeah, big difference, man. First of all, it wasn't something that was kind of like chosen, right? When I was in high school, I probably was the only producer in my whole entire school, which had thousands of students there. So a lot of people were rappers, a lot of people were dancers and did other things, but wasn't really a lot of producers. Why? Because it was tough to do. One, it was challenging. Two, three, the equipment cost a lot of money. It wasn't like computers and DAWs and programs and softwares. It was actually hardware like beat machines, MPC 2000 XLs and keyboards, and it cost a lot of money. So that wasn't something that people was choosing to do because it took a lot of investing in order to become a producer. So when you look at today's world and today's climate, you don't have to spend that much money in order to be able to create and be a producer. If you have a computer, you
Yeah.
can get Logic, you can get Pro Tools, you can get, Fruity Loops, you can get some of these DAWs and be able to create masterpieces. And I feel like now everything is so accessible to everyone. Now it's kind of easier to do and easier to accomplish. So, and I say that with no shade. At the end of the day, technology advances, music advances, people grow, we all advance. So it's just where we are today. So I just kind of try to find a balance between how it was for me when I came up in regards to the hustle, the programs and the equipment that I used, and kind of merge where we are today with technology and kind of be able to find the balance so that I'm still happy, because I've been at this for over 25 years. So I gotta kind of want to stay to who I am, stick to who I am, but also be willing to evolve as well.
Yeah, basically, how's your work in a studio? Just like you started from an idea, from the beat, from the lyrics.
Always the beat. Always the beat. Me as a producer, that's my role, is to create the track, is to create the beat. And it's all about I turn on the equipment and I see what I feel. Whether I have a sample, whether I have an idea, or I have nothing, and I just kind of find a sound or a sound effect, or play or a melody or chords that I start with, and then build the drum programming after that. So it's always a vibe. But always for me, the track comes first, and then it's me displaying the track for an artist or a writer to then build a song.
Which is the most big challenges you had to do, just like to become who you are right now, as an artist and a hit maker.
Wow.
You're not a
Big
producer, you're a hit maker, bro. So
thank you, my brother.
you gotta know it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
You're
that.
welcome.
Thank you. I mean, where I'm from the Bronx, man. I'm from the Bronx. The Bronx is the home and the birthplace of hip hop. But at the same time, very, very, very tough borough. New York in general, right? And me growing up in the projects, me growing up, as we say in the hood, it's tough. A lot of distractions, a lot of things that are try to persuade you to go in the wrong direction, whether it's drugs, whether it's gangs, whether it's alcohol, doing the wrong thing. So for me, music was my savior. Music literally saved my life. So it's just about making a decision of not becoming what I saw, not falling into the traps of the negative things that was available to me, and honing in on something that I love that was positive, that could be life changing for myself, and life changing for my family and my loved ones. And now with me being an adult and being a father, you know, it allows me to be able to take care of my kids, and that's one of the greatest things in the world. So it took me a lot to get to where I am today, and I think most people don't think about the challenges that it takes to stay successful and to remain who you are once you arrive. So that's another challenge within itself, man. But again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a man of God. I'm a man of faith. I believe in working hard, creating and maintaining relationships, being a man of my word, and just creating the best work that I can create and share that.
Thank you so much for what you do for the children's, and for your work is very, very important, which is the message that you want that children's take away from it.
I want them to believe in themselves. I want them to know that each and every single one of them are gifted, are talented, are special, are unique, and they have, you know, dreams and goals and aspirations of what they want to do and who they want to become, and that is possible. You know, for me to become Amadeus, you know, with the world and who the world knows as Amadeus, dealing with what I've dealt with, facing the challenges that I've faced, I'm saying to them, there's no excuses of why you can't be great. There's no excuses of why you can't be successful. You know, use your challenges, use the roadblocks, use the pain, use the hurt, you know, to want to work hard and better yourself and become everything that you want to be. And I love it. I love those kids everywhere I go. They love me. It's so much genuine love and respect there. And I'm grateful to be in a position to be able to encourage them and push them to chase and live their dreams.
From the Department of Education, you know, what do you want? How do you want to inspire the next generation?
Yeah, I just want them to be the best them that they can be. I want them to be all that they can be. Sometimes, you know, some of these kids are not being encouraged, they're not being supported, they're not being loved on. So sometimes it's just about giving them attention and giving them time and allowing them to be seen and heard. So to me, I just want them to be the best that they can be. I want them to take advantage of the life that they've been blessed to live, and just share, you know, their gifts and talents with the world, just like how I'm doing.
Did you feel like it was just like a reason to go on, or maybe something like a pressure, or just like to have the Bronx Walk of Fame? And congrats so much. You deserve it.
Thank you.
How did you feel when you received it?
Man, it was so shocking.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at first. So it took me a while to kind of really understand that it was real and that it was actually something that was happening. I've never dreamt of anything like that. So it wasn't like it was something that I was working towards. I would see it. I would think it was amazing. So to be a part of the Bronx Walk of Fame and to have my name up on the Grand Concourse in the street, on the streets. I actually drove by there yesterday.
Yeah, I was thinking about
I drove by there yesterday. And yeah, I saw it, and I just stood there in my car. Yeah, I just drove by and looked at it. I just drove by and looked at it yesterday, man, and I'm still in shock. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, from your achievement, a word from him. You know, how did you feel in that moment? You know, I think you deserve it for not being only an artist, you know, but for being like a motivator and
yes, sir.
and an inspiration, you know.
Yeah,
how did you feel about this?
Amazing, man. Amazing. It's just, you know, I love what I do musically, like you said, as a producer, as an artist, you know, to create and to share your work with the world and for the world to appreciate you is a great feeling. But it's nothing like, you know, giving back to your community and being a blessing to others and inspiring and motivating others. Because at the end of the day, I feel like there's so much music in the world. There's so many artists. There's so many producers. And not to downplay who I am, but you can forget about me musically. You can forget about a song that I made. You can forget about a show that I performed. The thing
of you is that we can recognize what you do. And that's what makes it different, which is the thing that you like, or maybe some tracks or things that are using now in a production that you like.
I mean, it's like, for instance, there's a new machine called the Akai MPC Key 37, which kind of mixed the two of having the actual keyboard and the drum programming and the pads, but still having doors and still being have the software as a part of that, and kind of having the best of both worlds. I'm actually looking at it right now.
Yeah.
It's in the box over there. But again, it's all about being able to grow. We can't stay stuck in medieval times. We can't stay stuck in our past. We have to be willing to grow with the times and with the sounds and with the technology. But like I said, it's about finding the balance and being happy with how you create and being comfortable with how you create as a producer.
Do you think you would like to explore some new sound right now with your next production? Have you ever think about this?
I'm always willing to do that, but again, for me, it's about a feeling.
Yeah.
And it's always been a feeling, whether it's a newer sound, whether it's an old sound, whether it's something that I'm already doing. If it feels right, I just go with that. You know what I mean? I don't really follow, trends and styles, and I just do me, man. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm still, I think that's why I'm still here today and still successful, because I never follow trends or styles. Just trends and styles and sounds, can kind of go away. They can change. But if you just do you and share what you are and what you do, that'll always be.
Thank you so much for this time with me. It was a real big honor. You got a supporter, a fan. I wish you in Italy too. So let's come here when you want, And thank you so much for everything, for being in a culture of music. You're a mentor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really, thank you so much. We keep on touch. It was
Absolutely.
such a big honor for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Absolutely. God bless.
God bless you too.